60 Seconds is a brutal survival game all about making tough decisions. Will I trade my 10-year-old son for a can of soup? Will I still love my daughter if she has stinky breath? Yes and no. My name's Real Bucko, and I only have 12 hours to collect every achievement in the game 60 Seconds. That makes sense if you don't think about it. The nuclear apocalypse is upon us, and with only 60 seconds,
He said it!
we have to scavenge our house for enough supplies to sustain us until we are rescued from our survival bunker. Every decision is absolutely critical, and the game knows that. If you forget your medical supplies, well, now the whole family has lupus. Didn't bring enough food? Well, now we gotta decide which family member we want to sacrifice. You could be stuck in your bunker for hundreds of days until one of the many forms of rescue arrives. Every event you are met with is purely chance, so no two runs are ever quite the same. As a family guy, I don't want this opportunity to go to waste. Through my 12-hour conquest to get all the achievements, I'll be making notes to help save my family from any potential nuclear apocalypses. Just like Abraham Lincoln said, I will prepare, and someday I'll have to save my family during World War III and IV. Like most games, 60 Seconds starts you off with a lengthy tutorial. I normally don't do tutorials, but I've never played this game before, and there is also an achievement for completing it. I can only hope that when the actual apocalypse happens, a military man with a completely respectable mustache teaches me how to survive. And if you don't think this is a full-on mustache, I don't know what to tell you, you're just wrong. Every run starts off with a short prep window, followed by 60 seconds, to get as many supplies as you can into your doomsday bunker. Now you know why they named it 60 Seconds and not Nuki Boom Boom Survival, even though I prefer the latter. From here you must use those supplies to survive until you either get rescued or perish in the wasteland. After 10 long and uneventful days in the tutorial, I opened the door to some knocking and we were saved by the military, completing the tutorial and netting us the first of 60 achievements. With the tutorial under our belt, it was time for the first real run. The preparation phase is crucial. You need to grab all the items that are essential for survival, like a harmonica and the Boy Scouts handbook. I mean, grabbing your family is also good. In my first run, little Timmy almost got left behind.
My son! Wait! Am I gonna die? Holy shit, I barely made it. Yes!
I bagged 2 relatively free achievements for surviving the blast and rescuing my entire family. My apologies if I sound rough in some of these clips. My wife, 11-month-old, and myself have all had the flu for the last 2 weeks. That's also why it took me so long to get this video out. After surviving for 5 days and using my flashlight, I locked in 2 more pretty free achievements. 7 days in, I must have thought things were going too well, so I instructed my family to eat some fungus that was growing on the side of the wall. This caused Timmy and Mary Jane to contract an illness. I'm not claiming to be Father of the Year, but telling anyone to eat moist bunker wall fungus is a mistake. I'm pretty sure something like this is what started the infection in The Last of Us. We are a mere 9 days into survival and Timmy has already developed some form of schizophrenia. He has not stopped staring at the Boy Scout handbook for multiple days now. Timmy was seeing ghosts, and it's possible that these mushrooms were magical mushrooms, and Timmy is currently on the ride of his life. Even with Timmy tripping out of his mind, I managed to survive for 10 days for another pretty free achievement. Things went from bad to Cleveland Browns really quickly. Timmy gave in to the voices in his head and he left our shelter for good. I would like to think that he's out there in the wasteland looking for more mushrooms, but in the bleak reality, he likely didn't make it. Supplies started to run low, and I had to start making some decisions. One of the rules of the game is that one of the 2 parents must survive for the run to continue. With that in mind, and our water supply drying up quickly, I chose to only give the water to Dolores, leading to Ted's demise, and Mary Jane leaving for greener pastures. By now, it should be clear that I'm not an expert in survival, but the stench of a decaying Ted would drive anyone insane. Can we just move him outside to at least feed the stray dogs? With only Dolores still alive, I netted the achievement for surviving 20 days, and man, it has been a rough 20 days. Without the rest of the family to slow us down though, Dolores was able to turtle up and grab the achievement for surviving 40 days. I'm starting to think that the rest of the family is just holding Dolores back. Dolores is looking worse than I do after 2 twisted teas. I accidentally stumbled upon another achievement for completing a random event by visiting Dee Dee's apartment. I still don't really know what I did here. With supplies running low, I sent Dolores out on a scavenging mission, only to come back to our shelter being occupied by someone else. And dying in the shelter is an achievement, even though that's not technically what happened. 64 days survived, and 9 achievements in our first run. I'll take it. Alright class, what did we learn that we can use to survive World War III and IV? That's right, do not eat mushrooms growing inside your fallout shelters. Everyone write that down. They are extremely harmful and bad for you. Using our newly found knowledge, I went into run 2 feeling more confident than a middle schooler wearing a pound of Axe body spray. I scavenged as Dolores to net the girl power achievement. I also grabbed the suitcase and the padlock, which is another achievement. Wait a minute, I haven't sold out yet. I haven't asked you to subscribe. For the next 5 minutes only, all new subscribers will look 40 years younger. You're going to want to jump on this deal quickly before it's gone. My goal is to hit 10,000 subscribers this year, so help me out, click the button. I also have a tight-knit Discord full of friends. If you're looking for somewhere to hang out and fit in, that's the perfect spot. Link in the description. We were presented a gift outside of our bunker. Hopefully that gift is a fresh shower, because Mary Jane looks like she's in the middle of a 7-day bender. Accepting the gift gave us 1 additional soup and another achievement. The very next day I was paid back for donating some water to some mutants earlier in the run. They repaid my kindness by defending us from bandits and giving us yet another achievement. On day 26, a mysterious stranger offered us the contents of his bag for 1 soup. My mom always told me to always talk to strangers, especially if they have candy or puppies, so I accepted the offer, and we are given maybe the most useful item to survive this wasteland: a cat. Also an achievement. Believe it or not, this cat is a very important character in the run. There are 4 separate endings tied directly to this little furry beast. Each ending has an achievement tied to it, so in total this cat represents about 10% of the achievements. The family's gonna have to deal with him licking his own poop chute if we want to complete all the achievements.
My son looks, oh my god, look at the cat, bro. My son looks like Ronald McDonald's stepchild. Dude, Ted is not looking good, holy shit. Ted looks like he has day 1 COVID.
On day 45, with everyone starving and down to our last morsel of soup, Mary Jane pulled through, delivering us more of that sweet, sweet soup. Mary Jane's heroics allowed us to crawl forward and survive for 50 days. It's not an achievement, but it's my best run yet, even if it doesn't really look like it. On day 56, Ted and Dolores decided to be cute and go out together, leaving only Mary Jane to care for our very healthy and very well-fed cat. This effectively ended the run. I wasted no time jumping back into the bunker though. The scavenging on run 3 was perfect. Some in the 60 seconds community are comparing this scavenging run with Jordan's flu game. I also locked in the achievement for collecting 10 cans of soup from the house. Every run there's a very small chance that Mary Jane can get hit by some green goo from the that sounds wrong. Or get bitten by radioactive spiders. And this causes Mary Jane to go through puberty of some sorts.
Go, I got the mutant achievement. Oh my gosh, she's hideous. Be nice to MJ. I mean, she's beautiful. Look at her bulging back muscle. And her bulging kneecaps.
Mutant Mary Jane is a cheat code for surviving. She unlocks a few extremely useful perks with her mutant status. She doesn't need to drink water anymore, she always makes it back from scavenging missions, and she can save you 1 time from the bandits. This makes Mutant MJ extremely strong, with the only drawbacks being that she smells like the state of Kentucky. The run was going great. We strategically got rid of Timmy, had a constant flow of supplies from Mutant Mary Jane. I could have just kicked back and relaxed. But I made one very fatal mistake. I decided it was alright to rob the local school shelter for supplies. This locked in the dark side achievement, but it also gives us this nice little red hand in our shelter, marking us as terrible people. We are worse than people who nuke gas station bathrooms and then just slink away into the night. Due to our karma being so poor, the bandits were relentless. They were treating us like we set fire to a herd of puppies. All we did was rob a mostly empty school shelter. I locked in 2 more achievements by defending my family with a padlock and by staving off a total of 3 bandit attacks in 1 game. Bringing Ted along on any run for more than 50 days should be a crime. He's just not built to handle this new world. I should have tossed him out of this bunker the moment he ripped off his sock and started feeding it soup.
Moose, do you think that my daughter is cute? Look at my daughter Mary Jane. She's a beauty. Adorable. Thank you, Moose.
With Ted diseased and Dolores in agony, the bandits come knocking again. On day 67, Dolores kicked the bucket and Ted was captured by bandits, ending my best run yet. What have we learned from this run? Well, don't get caught stealing from the poor and needy. You can do it, just don't get caught. After trying to level my toilet for an entire 60 seconds, I didn't make it back to the shelter before the bombs went off, getting me yet another achievement. If you're currently watching this while on the toilet yourself, I hope things are going smoothly for you, and thank you for making me your toilet content. I loaded up a scavenging challenge and it was incredibly easy, grabbing me another achievement and more importantly, unlocking a cool hat for the whole family. In my next survival challenge, I put the cool hat on Timmy to get us another achievement. I figured the achievement for beating a survival challenge would be simple and easy like the scavenging one. Boy was I wrong. The challenge for Timmy to survive 30 days against the Home Alone intruders is insanely hard. On only day 2 of the run, Timmy began to look like the average Minnesota Vikings fan. The Home Alone challenge is just an RNG nightmare. So many things can go wrong. On day 21, I was out of ways to fend off the wet bandits. Harry and Marv broke in and proceeded to end my run. On my next attempt, the same exact outcome happened. You would think the parents in Home Alone would be charged with neglect for leaving their kid home alone for multiple family vacations. I think there's like 5 movies now. But judging from the size of their house, I think they're too rich to be required to follow laws like the rest of us common folk. I ended up punting on the survival challenge. Instead, I did the holiday scavenging challenge, and this one was much easier, unlocking me another achievement and cool Santa hats for the whole family. On my next run, we were infested with mutant cockroaches. We were learning to accept one another and live together in harmony. One day the roaches started looking up at us strangely. So Ted picked up the harmonica and started playing it. The roaches danced their way straight out of the shelter, leaving us an extra soup and water and another achievement. On day 51, with no kids remaining to slow me down, we were finally rescued. I had my first successful run. We won via the Twins ending, where we joined a large, stable community of survivors. This gave us the New Hope achievement and my first win of the challenge. We're almost 3 hours into the run, so let's talk about what achievements are left. Most of these achievements require me to either beat the game or complete an RNG-based event while having specific items and specific family members alive. If you know anything about me, my RNG is absolutely horrible. I used to be a hardcore old-school RuneScape addict. I have almost 14,000 kills at one specific boss to receive a cosmetic pet that drops at a rate of 1 in 2,800. I have since quit that game and moved on with my life, but maybe when I'm old and senile in a few years, I'll pick it back up in the retirement home. About 15 of the remaining achievements are for beating the game and getting one of the many endings, or for beating it on a certain difficulty, or with certain win conditions like saying no to every request. With only 1 win in the first 3 hours, I am cooked worse than when SpongeBob and Patrick were under the heat lamp. Now, there are still a few Weenie Hut Jr. difficulty achievements, like starting a game on the hardest difficulty with only a padlock and playing cards. This is a pretty easy one. I also grabbed 2 more low-hanging fruit for scavenging each item once and collecting 10 total waters from the house.
What?
I sent a few attempts for the achievement for saying no to every request and still winning the game. This proved to be more difficult than I expected. This is a good point to mention though, that I have been steadily progressing on the achievement for trading 30 times. Whenever the option arises, I will make a trade, even if it hurts my chances of survival on the current run. On day 56 of another attempt at saying no to every request, I lost Mutant Mary Jane to some bandits. She went out defending us from those soup-thirsty savages. On day 59 though, the bandits finally captured Dolores, ending my run, but giving me the "This is the end" achievement for losing to the bandits. I'm quickly learning that the problem with surviving the nuclear wasteland isn't running out of supplies, it's dealing with other survivors who want my steady stock of tomato soup. Rule number 3 is to always be armed. After failing Timmy's Home Alone challenge 3 more times, bringing the total count to 6 failures, I was starting to lose hope. At this point in the challenge, I needed a deep run. My morale was dangerously low. Taking a Razor scooter to the shin might have boosted my spirits. That's how bad things got. With Sharikov the cat in tow, things were finally looking up. The days flew by and the family stayed relatively healthy. I was making good progress on getting one of the cat endings. I made it all the way to day 70, and it was clear to me that help wasn't coming. I slowly watched as the members of my family got picked off one by one. With Dolores turning to dust and bones, I just had Ted left. Without any soup, I had to send Ted out into the wasteland. But when he came back, the bunker was taken over. After surviving 70 days, we got a new PB for days survived, but no new achievements. On my next attempt, I met a feral group of old ladies. I decided to take it easy on them and not use any weapons. Big mistake.
What happens with the old ladies if you just do nothing? They took everything.
The old ladies robbed us blind. They took advantage of us like my grandma who keeps falling for AI videos. No, Grandma, they did not teach a group of cats to play in an orchestra. I'm 28, but when it's our turn to be the old generation, AI is going to be so good that we are cooked. We might as well just take the optimal route and gamble our retirement at the casino like our ancestors did. Add this to the list of the rules: never trust the elderly. The next run was quite uneventful. Ted was useless as always, Timmy was talking to the ghost of Stonewall Jackson, and Mary was a mutant. Just normal events in the apocalypse. Dolores was given the chance to crack a code that was left on our doorstep, and after a few days she had it solved, netting us the Enigma achievement. This is the first time I've gotten this random event in 5 hours, so it was good to get past that one. 5 hours in and we're halfway done with all the achievements. I am man enough to admit I cheated my way through my 9th grade geometry class, but if my math is right here, we are on pace to win this challenge. I got to avenge my loss in the Ark Raiders video. Currently my record is 0-1. To beat the New York Jets allegations, I need to pull through. It's always funny to me when Ted or Dolores dies, we just leave their bones in the shelter with us. What better way to survive than to be constantly reminded of agonizing death by starvation? It looks like Ted died from his injuries when trying to pet the cat. A noble way to go out. On day 61, the military decided they finally wanted to rescue us, locking in 2 more achievements for getting the military ending and winning every game mode on Goo Goo Gaga difficulty. I don't know what this means for Mary Jane, as she's a mutant. They're likely going to use her for scientific testing or turning her into a winter soldier of some sorts. As if my RNG wasn't bad enough already, I decided I needed to inject some dopamine by ripping a few Pokemon packs. My luck did not improve, but on the last pack I hit a little bit of magic.
Mega Charizard XEX. Yo, wait, this is actually a good pull. Wait, this is actually a good pull. Yo. This isn't the chase, but damn, this is a good card.
Make sure to subscribe so I can open more Pokemon packs. Oh, and feed my family, thanks. Before my next play session, I was hard at work, studying and researching. Now that I had a basic understanding of the game, I needed to optimize a way to successfully complete this challenge. I came back with a plan. There were 4 items I needed to have every time to maximize my achievement chances: the axe, the gas mask, the med kit, and the bug spray. Each of these items are required in the off chance you get a random event correlating to an achievement. Every raid I started by sending Timmy out with a gas mask in hopes he would meet the local law enforcement. Most times the RNG didn't line up, but I had to be ready. On day 23 I sacrificed Ted to pursue the questline for acquiring Pancake the dog. I think that's a fair trade. I was close to acquiring Pancake, but like a stepdad on Christmas, Dolores ended up leaving and never returned. That's okay, run failed, but we push on. During my next scavenge, I leveled the toilet like it was Long John Silver's night, netting me another quick achievement. The trick is you gotta hit it with the right momentum and from the right angle to get it off the base. I quickly found out the issue with juggling so many achievements is that sometimes they just contradict one another. Having Sharikov is always optimal to work towards one of the 4 endings that he's required for, but bringing him in also takes care of my mutant cockroach problem, another achievement that I was working towards. Look at him, he's so proud of it. He doesn't care that he just ruined 45 days of training these roaches to understand sign language. He's just gonna keep leaving hairballs everywhere and peeing in our soup. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that only Dolores was left standing when the scientists finally decided to come by to collect some soup. At this point, I was very desperate to be saved. Not desperate enough to willingly eat at Jack in the Box, but I was close. I gave the scientist the last of my soup in hopes that he would save me, but on day 74, starving and clinically insane, bandits showed up to take all the imaginary soups that I had left. The scientist must have gotten his degree in dilly-dallying because he took his sweet time to rescue me. I was on pace for 4 different achievements that run, and I walked away with a whopping 0. Halfway done with the challenge and the achievements have been slowed to a crawl. Things are not looking good for your boy. There is one skill-based achievement in the game, and it's for swatting the fly that buzzes around. All you gotta do is click on the fly. The only issue is that the fly moves faster than Usain Bolt. Being low skilled, I implored the machine gun mouse strategy, praying that one of my clicks would land. I got that slippery guy, locking in another achievement. If you press the button on the radio a few times on day 3, and then a few more times on day 7, you'll start to hear some voices. Maybe little Tinny wasn't schizophrenic after all. Or maybe I've spent too many days down here. Either way, we got the miracle achievement. Over the course of the game, you kind of start to realize what family members can carry their weight, and what ones will sink you faster than the Titanic. Ted is the most useless. When you send him out, He either doesn't come back or he comes back with one half-eaten ramen noodle brick with no seasoning. I need to keep Ted around, unfortunately, for his strong male presence and the off chance that I can shave his beard with the axe. The next most expendable is Timmy. Outside of sending him out in the early game, this soup sucker is just a drain on your supplies. If you want something done right, Mary Jane is your gal. When things started to look bleak, Mary Jane delivered the biggest scavenge I have ever seen. A gas mask, 4 soups, 6 waters, a rifle, and a radio. Mary Jane must have found the last untouched Walmart. The blessings continued on the next day as a new friend joined us, Pancake the dog. I immediately pet him to continue my good fortunes. Pancake's very helpful and will oftentimes find you supplies, fulfilling his moral obligations to hold the best boy title. Sadly for Pancake though, there's another achievement where you have to get the cat and the dog at the same time. Being the first time I had gotten Pancake in 6 hours, I didn't know when the chance would present itself again. I painfully accepted Sharikov, forcing Pancake to leave and go back to the wasteland. Despite being a terrible person for sentencing Pancake to his own doom, likely eaten by raiders who I assume are also cannibals, or dog eaters, which is objectively worse. I made it to day 88. Well, Dolores did. The rest of the family is as useful as a mailed nipple. I got the No Stone Unturned achievement, which is unlocked for exploring your entire bunker, which means I got 4 specific random events in one run. Maybe my RNG was turning around. On day 95, another cat arrived in my shelter, followed by another cat the next day. Each new cat consuming a new can of soup. My soup supply had quickly been destroyed by the feline army that showed up on my doorstep. On day 97, 3 days short of hitting triple digits for the first time, someone in the comments verify that math, I was forcibly removed from my shelter by the cats, unlocking the feline domination achievement. Yeah, I'm adding this one to the survival list. Don't trust any cats. No matter how cute and innocent they seem, they are always plotting against you. I spent the next 40 minutes trying to brute force my way back through the Home Alone challenge, bringing my total failures to 10. I don't know how to beat this challenge and it's wasting a lot of my time. While trying to do a yes-only run, I was left in the worst possible scenario. I was left with Ronald McDonald-looking Timmy, and uninspired Viking insurance agent Ted. Despite everything working against us, we were actually doing pretty well. Unfortunately, this was a yes-only run, and the game asked me to rob the retirement home. It's like they knew. To get back at those old ladies from earlier, I was smashing the yes button. I snatched all their tapioca pudding, but I was quickly marked for death by the bandits. To make matters worse, Ted's looking like he's got the suds that SpongeBob had. We need rescued stat. For the first time in almost 8 hours, I got the random event to shave Ted's beard with the axe. As you can see, I don't have the axe. Don't know if I'll ever get that chance again. Great timing. Shortly after this, an earthquake hit the shelter. What luck. This broke my flashlight, which was the last object I needed to break for the Danger Zone achievement. A few days later, I was captured by bandits, and with no way to defend myself, another deep run with 2 achievements that I just couldn't reel in. This is starting to become a trend. The Lord must have seen how down bad I was at this point. On day 50 of the next run, I was gifted again with the event to shave Ted's beard. And I actually had the axe this time. Now this isn't guaranteed to work. It's still a 50-50 chance of success. The Lord had smiled upon me just to spit on me and rub my face in the dirt. I failed the beard shave. Ted will remain a hairy little beaver. This run wasn't a total waste though. I was still trying to do a no-only run when the twins knocked on my door and I declined to answer. The achievement popped. Nice little bit of coding there since the game didn't actually end, but it would have if I had said yes. After a few more wins on the middle difficulty, I was finally presented with another golden opportunity. With axe in hand and Ted's beard approaching Mountain Man levels, I failed another 50-50. What do you know? I accidentally got saved by the twins in another run and popped the achievement for winning a game of each mode on the Fat Man difficulty. 17 achievements to go in 3 hours. Sounds doable, right? If I wanted to salvage this challenge, I'd have to turn my luck around right now. Over the last 9 hours, I've been diligently adding parts to a tank outside of the bunker. The tank is able to be built over the course of multiple games. The final step is to add 5 cans of soup as fuel, and you get an instant win. Unfortunately, 5 cans of soup is like trying to buy a house in 2026. I don't know anyone who can afford that. We all still just live in our parents' basements until they go to the great casino in the sky. After yet another deep run with plenty of supplies to hold out for the long haul, I lost. Every run is a difficult balance of going for achievements while also trying to survive. One wrong decision jeopardizes everything. I would like to blame RNG, but the guy making this video also lacks skill, decision making, and the ability to read clearly. I am from Iowa after all, and our education system is dropping like a rock. Over the next few runs, I made sure to stuff my pockets full of soup before we went into the bunker. I wasn't going to miss that tank ending 2 times in a row. I even sacrificed Mary Jane just to haul down more soup. My vigilant soup collection paid off, and I got offered the tank ending yet again. I also had a yes man run going, and getting that ending after only 27 days was massive. 2 more achievements crossed off, and we're gaining some momentum. With my newfound confidence, I gave myself irreparable brain damage by listening to Mary Jane play her tuba and repeatedly slamming my head into the toilet. There's an achievement for running into 1,337 objects during scavenging, and I kid you not, I spent the next 15 minutes repeatedly dive bombing into the toilet. My producer is telling me I already made a Long John Silver's joke this video, so you'll have to think of your own joke this time. I'll give you a moment. For the last 3 or 4 hours, every run has started with me sending Timmy out in hopes that he meets the local law enforcement. At the 10-hour mark in the challenge, Timmy finally pulled through. Timmy is about as reliable as 1-ply toilet paper, so it was nice to finally see him get a win. Later during this same run, I grabbed another achievement for playing a harmonica for some aliens. Most of these achievements rely on you knowing what to do when you see a specific event and having the correct item to deal with it. Timmy isn't looking so great, and we're patiently waiting for the scientist to come save us. The scientist ending seems to take the longest of all of them. On day 67, he finally pulled through, and I finally got the scientist ending achievement. Why couldn't you marry this guy, Dolores? He looks much more useful than Ted. The challenge is almost over, and I still have something to prove to myself. I want to be able to survive for at least 100 days. To prove to myself and my family that when World War III, 4, and maybe even 5 hit, I'll be able to protect them. This run started perfectly. With Mutant Mary Jane on day 3, we should have infinite supplies. Timmy ended up injuring himself, and this fell perfectly in line with the plan. If we wanted to make a deep run at this, we'd have to make some cuts. Sorry Timmy, you're just not good enough to make the team this year. Even with Mary Jane constantly out scavenging, I couldn't find enough soup. Ted and Dolores were gonna starve, so when the opportunity presented itself to rob the local nursing home, I couldn't hit yes enough. I remembered those old ladies robbing me for everything I had. Time to take it back. Bring the axe, Ted. Ted came back with a wheelbarrow full of food, but karma had already bitten as Dolores had been Thanos snapped out of existence. That's alright though, one less mouth to feed for the long haul. On day 63, a golden opportunity presented itself. With the axe still functional, I was presented with one more chance to shave Ted's beard. One last spin on the roulette wheel of fate. I selected the axe, and I prayed.
Hooray!
We actually got it. I can't believe it. Moments later, I traded that same axe for my 30th trade and another achievement. Day 90 hit, a mere 10 days from my goal. Food and water stocks were high. The only problem is that the bandits would not leave us be. They saw us rob that nursing home months ago. Day 93 was the day of reckoning. With Mary Jane unable to protect us, Ted was left defenseless. The bandits broke down the door and the run was over. Another failed attempt at 100 days. With time winding down on the clock, I have time for one more chance at 100 days survived. I need to lock in. Many runs have passed where I try to let the roaches live with us in harmony. I finally got the event where they try to hold up signs to communicate with us. At this point, you gotta erase them like the Ottoman Empire. Who writes these jokes? The Zoomers watching this won't even know what the Ottoman Empire is. I've carried this bug spray with me for the last 4 hours waiting for this moment. Bug sprayer achievement unlocked. By day 32 of the final run, Ted and Dolores had become empty nesters. Not optimal for a deep run, but getting rid of the kids is always beneficial unless one of them is mutated. We had the scientist begging for us to go with him, but we had enough soup to last a lifetime. If only the kids were around to see how well off we are. 15 and a half servings of soup is more than I've ever seen. On day 61, disaster struck. We brought in an old fridge that had a cat inside of it. This began a chain reaction that nobody could stop. Every day, a new cat made its way into our shelter, claiming a can of soup and calling this place home. One by one, the cats made their way inside, occupying different spaces in the shelter. Once the 10th and final cat made it in, Dolores finally snapped. She has entered deadly levels of insane cat lady, unlocking one final achievement for becoming a cat lady. With 53 out of 60 achievements, we weren't able to get the platinum in 12 hours. 7 achievements short, we have lost another challenge. To call this a complete loss isn't right though. I learned how to keep my family sane and safe during any potential disasters. With the handy dandy rules I've created, anyone should be able to survive the nuclear wars of the future. If you think about it, every day we get one day closer to a Fallout scenario. Maybe I'll play that game next. As long as you follow these rules and do your best to surround yourself with cats, you should be fine during the end of days. Wait a minute. Wasn't the rule about not letting cats in? How did it get changed to trusting? Oh, wait.
Who are you people?
That's all I got today. Join our Discord below and make sure to subscribe to catch my next video. I'll see you in the next one.